Chosen one, it's time to show them how it's done, because the universe is about to deliver a revelation so earth-shattering that you need to get your face ready right now, and I mean properly ready, because when you wake up to what's coming, you're going to fall straight out of bed from the sheer magnitude of what materializes overnight while you're sleeping, thinking you're just getting rest, when actually you're about to wake up to the biggest plot twist of your entire existence. Riddle me what season has arrived, because the answer will knock your socks off properly. Everything you've been manifesting, everything you've been working toward, everything you've been building through blood, sweat and tears is about to crystallize into physical reality with a speed that defies every timeline you thought was reasonable. The biggest payday of your life isn't coming someday, it's arriving now, and the magnitude will leave you speechless. The groundwork has been laid through every sleepless night, every rejection that felt like a knife to the chest, every moment when you stood alone in your vision while others questioned your sanity. That foundation you've constructed through sheer determination is about to support something so powerful it will make your past struggles look like the necessary training they always were. The shock will be profound, but the recognition will be deeper. This moment has been inevitable since the day you decided to stop playing small. You've been laying the groundwork for this breakthrough while others were comfortable in mediocrity. While they were settling for scraps, you were preparing for the feast. While they were accepting limitations as permanent conditions, you were building the infrastructure to handle abundance. The difference wasn't talent or luck. It was the willingness to do what champions do, even when the championship felt impossible. The coming blindside will hit with such force that rational mind will struggle to process blessings that exceed its calculated predictions. This is about waking up to wealth you've never had before, to opportunities that reshape your entire existence, to recognition that validates every risk you've taken. The bank account testimony that's coming will eliminate debt so thoroughly that within a few days you'll be completely free of financial chains that have been dragging behind you for years. You've earned this through becoming worthy of it, not just wanting it. The character you've built, the wisdom you've accumulated, the resilience you've developed through trials that would have broken lesser spirits, these qualities have created a container strong enough to hold what's coming without it destroying everything in its path. Animals have been gravitating toward you with inexplicable magnetism. Children see something in you that adults have forgotten how to recognize. Random strangers find themselves drawn into conversations that somehow become confessions or revelations. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmation that your frequency has been shifting, that your energy signature has been evolving, that something profound has been preparing to emerge through you. The imposter syndrome that's been whispering poison in your ear is about to be silenced forever by evidence so overwhelming that even your harshest inner critic will have to acknowledge the truth. This garden has always been yours to tend. This DNA of greatness has always been in your bloodline, and these blessings that are about to manifest have your name written all over them in letters so large that denial becomes impossible. Your authentic self has been emerging piece by piece, breaking free from the prison of other people's expectations, like a butterfly fighting its way out of a cocoon. The mask is dissolving, and what's underneath is terrifying to those who profit from your small thinking. They've watched you shed their limitations like old skin, and now they're scrambling to maintain relevance in a world where you've stopped seeking their approval. The unpredictability that makes others uncomfortable, the wild energy that refuses to be contained, the way you flip situations until they serve your highest purpose, these aren't flaws to be corrected. They're the very qualities that mark you as different, as chosen, as destined for something extraordinary. You've been the siren whose call awakens possibilities in others, the galactic truth serum that forces people to confront what they've been avoiding about themselves. Standing up for yourself has become second nature because you finally understand what you're defending. The boundaries you've established aren't walls, they're quality control measures, ensuring that only people and opportunities worthy of your energy gain access to your space. The standards you've maintained despite pressure to lower them have been preparing you for connections that match your elevated vibration. The roller coaster of existential crises and identity transformations has been preparing you for this moment when you finally understand why the journey had to be so intense. Every loop, every drop, every moment when you thought you might not survive the ride was building the kind of resilience that can handle what's coming next. The merry-go-round of confusion is grinding to a halt, and the clarity that's replacing it will cut through years of accumulated doubt like a laser through fog. The chariot that's been limping along on 3 wheels and a donut is getting a complete overhaul. 4 brand new tires, a tuned engine, and the kind of momentum that doesn't just get you to your destination, it gets you there ahead of schedule with fuel to spare. The infrastructure is finally matching the vision, and the vision is about to become an unstoppable reality that sustains itself rather than burning out in a brief flash of artificial success. You've learned the mechanics of manifestation the hard way, through trial and error, through seasons when nothing seemed to work, and periods when you wondered if magic was real. But magic has been real all along, and you've been its student, its practitioner, and now you're about to become its master teacher. The discipline you've developed, the consistency you've maintained when results seem impossible, the faith you've stood on when logic offered no support, these qualities have built the container strong enough to hold miracles. Justice is rolling in like thunder across a darkened sky, and everyone who's been counting you out is about to be reminded why that was a strategic error. The people who've been pocket-watching your progress with jealous eyes, waiting for you to fail so they could feel better about their own stagnation, are about to witness a level of success that makes their criticism look embarrassingly small and their doubt appear hilariously misplaced. The breakthrough that's coming isn't just personal. It's cosmic justice for everyone who's ever been told their dreams were too big, their vision too grand, their hopes too ambitious. Your success becomes their permission slip, your elevation becomes their evidence, your transformation becomes their proof that the impossible is just another word for untested. You're not just changing your life, you're changing the game for everyone who comes after you. The recognition that's arriving won't just come from strangers or distant admirers. It's coming from people who've been sleeping on your potential, who've been treating your gifts like hobbies, who've been acting like your success was cute but not serious. The shock on their faces when they realize they've been in the presence of greatness all along will be almost as satisfying as the breakthrough itself. Your creative genius has been dormant, waiting for the right moment, the right conditions, the right level of preparation to safely emerge without destroying everything in its path. The artistic flow that's replacing analytical overthinking is producing innovations that seem to materialize from thin air, but are actually the result of years of unconscious preparation meeting perfect timing. The voice you've been developing, the message you've been refining, the unique perspective you've been cultivating through every experience, it's about to find its audience, and that audience has been waiting for exactly what you have to say. Self-expression is becoming as natural as breathing, and people are starting to notice the way you speak truth that cuts through confusion and offers clarity where others provide only more questions. Leadership isn't something you're stepping into reluctantly, it's something you're claiming with the confidence of someone who's earned their position through consistent excellence rather than inherited privilege or political maneuvering. The authenticity you bring to positions of influence is going to show others what's possible when power is wielded with wisdom rather than wielded for its own sake. The know-it-alls in your environment are about to get schooled by someone who's been quietly accumulating actual knowledge while they've been busy performing expertise they don't possess. The moment when you finally speak up and demonstrate what real competence looks like will be a mic drop moment that reshapes every relationship in your orbit and establishes new hierarchies based on substance rather than volume. Trust is being rebuilt in your life as you learn to distinguish between people who deserve access to your energy and those who've been taking advantage of your generous spirit. The discernment you're developing isn't cynicism, it's wisdom in action, the ability to recognize authentic connections from toxic mirages before they can cause damage to your newly elevated state. Some people around you are about to reveal their true colors, and it won't be pretty. The advantage takers, the energy vampires, the ones who've been riding your coattails while offering nothing in return, they're going to show themselves clearly enough that even your compassionate heart will have no choice but to let them go. But this isn't loss, it's liberation, creating space for relationships that actually serve your highest good. The unread messages piling up in your devices aren't signs of rudeness, they're evidence of someone who's finally learned to prioritize their own energy management over other people's expectations. The missed calls you're not returning, the group chats you've silenced, the social obligations you're declining, these choices are creating the space necessary for what's trying to emerge through you. Boundaries have become your superpower, and watching people struggle to manipulate someone who's no longer available for manipulation is providing its own form of entertainment. The guilt trips that used to work don't land anymore. The emotional blackmail that used to trigger your people-pleasing patterns now just looks like what it always was, manipulation from people who've never learned to create value for themselves. The toxic song and dance you've been watching from certain people in your life is about to reach its final verse. The manipulation tactics that have been wearing thin, the guilt trips that have been losing their power, the attempts to make you feel responsible for other people's emotional states, all of it is about to be called out for what it really is, and your response will set new standards for what you will and won't tolerate. Plans that you've been dreading are about to get cancelled, and the relief you'll feel will remind you how important it is to honor your own preferences rather than constantly accommodating others. The social obligations that have been draining your energy, the commitments that never felt aligned with your values, the events that required you to perform a version of yourself that doesn't feel authentic, they're all falling away to make room for activities that actually feed your soul. When the news hits, and it's going to hit like lightning splitting the sky, your first instinct will be to look around and see if anyone else is witnessing this impossible thing that's happening to you. No chill will be your initial response, and that's exactly appropriate for someone whose dreams are becoming reality at a pace that defies every timeline you thought was reasonable. The screaming, the jumping, the inability to contain the joy that's been building pressure in your chest for years, let it out. This moment has been earned through every sacrifice, every setback, every night when you went to bed wondering if you were crazy for believing in something this big. The explosion of emotion won't be embarrassing, it will be evidence of a spirit that's maintained its capacity for wonder, despite every reason to become cynical. Justice arrives not as revenge but as restoration, not as punishment for your enemies, but as reward for your persistence. The scales that have been tipped against you for so long are finally balancing, and the weight of all that accumulated unfairness is about to be counterbalanced by blessings so substantial they'll make the struggle look like preparation rather than persecution. Someone who's been mistreating you with impunity is about to face consequences that have been building like pressure in a volcano. The accountability that has been missing from their life is about to arrive with such force that it will reshape their understanding of how the universe actually works. Karma isn't revenge, it's education, and some people are about to receive advanced degrees in the subject. The evil eye that's been directed at your success, the jealousy that's been masquerading as concern, the attempts to diminish your achievements through comparison or criticism, none of it has the power to touch what's protected by divine favor. Your hater blockers are at maximum strength, and the negativity that used to penetrate your peace now just bounces off like rain on glass. The breakthrough that's coming isn't just about money, though the financial transformation will be substantial enough to eliminate debt and create generational wealth. It's not just about recognition, though the acknowledgement will validate every risk you've taken. It's not just about love, though the connections forming will heal wounds you didn't know you were still carrying. The real climax is the moment when you realize that everything, every struggle, every setback, every dark night of the soul has been perfectly orchestrated to bring you to this exact point in time, with exactly the right combination of skills, wisdom and character to handle what you're about to receive. The shock of recognition when you see the divine intelligence that's been weaving through every detail of your story will take your breath away. Your old face needs to get ready, because the person you're about to become will be unrecognizable to the person you used to be. The limitations you accepted, the compromises you made, the smallness you tolerated, they're all being shed like old skin that can no longer contain what you're becoming. The transformation isn't just external, it's cellular, energetic, fundamental. The twist in the tale that you've become isn't just personal transformation, it's proof of concept for everyone who's been told that their dreams are too big, their vision too grand, their hopes too ambitious. Your success becomes their permission slip, your breakthrough becomes their evidence, your elevation becomes their inspiration to stop settling for less than they know they deserve. Riddle me what becomes the question that others ask when they witness what you're accomplishing, when they see what you're creating, when they experience what you're emanating. The mystery of how someone like you, someone who started with the same limitations, the same challenges, the same doubts, could achieve something so extraordinary that it defies their understanding of what's possible. The answer to their riddle is simpler than they imagine, but more challenging than they're willing to accept. You decided that your dreams were worth whatever it took to achieve them, and then you did whatever it took. The decision came first, the strategy came second, and the results are arriving exactly on schedule according to a timeline that was always perfect, even when it felt delayed. Properly blindsided is exactly how it should feel when the universe delivers on promises you've been carrying in your heart since childhood. The blindside isn't cruel, it's merciful, preventing you from interfering with a process too complex for conscious management, too powerful for mental manipulation, too perfect for human improvement. Don't be rude when it arrives. Don't minimize it. Don't deflect it. Don't apologize for it. These blessings are yours not because you're better than others, but because you've been willing to become worthy of them. The work you've done, the growth you've achieved, the person you've become, they've all been preparing you for exactly this moment when dreams stop being dreams and start being reality. The shock of it all brings us full circle to where this story began, with your face getting ready for news that will change everything. But now you understand that the shock isn't random. It's the inevitable result of forces that have been building momentum behind the scenes while you've been faithfully doing the work of becoming someone capable of receiving miracles. Your little dog, that innocent part of yourself that still believes in magic despite every reason to become cynical, is about to be vindicated in the most spectacular way possible. The childlike faith that you've protected despite mockery, despite disappointment, despite evidence that suggested you were naive, that faith is about to be rewarded beyond your wildest imagination. The end is actually the beginning, and everything you thought was the conclusion is actually commencement. The diploma you're about to receive from the University of Hard Knocks comes with privileges and responsibilities that will reshape not just your life, but the lives of everyone you touch from this moment forward. The morning revelation will hit differently because you've been unconsciously preparing for this moment your entire life. Every skill you developed, thinking it was random, every connection you made believing it was coincidental, every piece of knowledge you accumulated, assuming it was unrelated, they're all puzzle pieces that are about to click into perfect formation. The universe has been playing chess while you thought you were just living day to day. Your sleep tonight will be the last night you wake up as the person who wondered if they were worthy of their dreams. Tomorrow morning's awakening brings an identity shift so profound that looking in the mirror will feel like meeting someone you've always known was inside but never had permission to be. The reflection staring back won't be foreign. It will be familiar in the way that coming home feels familiar after a long journey through unfamiliar territory. The phone calls that will start coming, the messages that will flood your devices, the opportunities that will present themselves with urgent timing, they're all going to feel surreal until you remember that surreal is just another word for what happens when reality finally catches up to vision. The conversations you'll have, the decisions you'll need to make, the doors that will swing open, everything will require you to step into a version of yourself that you've been rehearsing for without realizing it. Show them how it's done becomes more than a phrase. It becomes your operating system, your default mode, your natural response to situations that used to intimidate you. The mastery that emerges won't feel foreign because it's been developing beneath the surface, waiting for circumstances that would call it forward. People will ask how you learned to handle success with such grace, not understanding that grace under pressure was forged through years of pressure without apparent reward. Your energy signature is about to broadcast on frequencies that attract opportunities, like magnets attract metal. The projects that will seek you out, the collaborations that will propose themselves, the investments that will become available, they're all going to align with your values in ways that make decision-making feel effortless rather than agonizing. Choice becomes privilege when every option serves your highest evolution. The demonstration of your capabilities won't require speeches or presentations. It will happen through pure presence, through the way problems solve themselves in your vicinity, through the way conversations shift when you contribute your perspective. Your influence operates below the radar of conscious awareness, creating changes that feel organic rather than manufactured, natural rather than manipulated. Falling out of bed becomes literal when your nervous system tries to process information that exceeds its current programming. The physical sensation of receiving news that reshapes your entire understanding of what's possible will require recalibration at the cellular level. Your body might shake, your breath might catch, your heart might race, not from fear, but from the excitement of expansion happening at speeds that biology struggles to accommodate. The incredulity that follows won't last long, because truth has a way of settling into your bones with surprising ease once initial shock subsides. What seemed impossible yesterday becomes today's baseline, and what feels miraculous today becomes tomorrow's starting point for even greater achievements. Adaptation happens faster than expected when you've been unconsciously preparing for elevation your entire existence. Your demonstration of power won't come through force or aggression. It will come through the quiet confidence of someone who finally understands their worth and refuses to negotiate it down to make others comfortable. The falling out of bed moment marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of something unprecedented in your personal history. Every previous breakthrough will pale in comparison, not because they weren't significant, but because this one represents the culmination of all previous growth experiences, combining into a single moment of profound transformation. Your face will need time to adjust to wearing expressions of genuine confidence instead of performed competence, authentic power instead of practiced strength, real satisfaction instead of manufactured contentment. The muscles of your face will literally need to learn new positions, new arrangements, new ways of reflecting an inner state that has fundamentally shifted from seeking to possessing, from wanting to having, from hoping to knowing. Show them how it's done requires no instruction manual, because the knowledge flows from the same source that has been guiding your preparation all along. The intuitive hits that have been shocking you with their accuracy, the sudden knowing that appears without logical reasoning, the certainty that emerges from places deeper than thought, these become your navigation system for a reality that operates according to different rules than the one you're leaving behind. The bed you fall out of will never feel the same because sleep patterns change when your subconscious mind finally has evidence that conscious desires are achievable rather than fantastical. Dreams become planning sessions instead of escape mechanisms. Rest becomes restoration for action rather than retreat from impossibility. Mourning becomes anticipation instead of resignation. Your demonstration affects everyone in your orbit without conscious effort on your part. Family members will notice changes they can't quite articulate. Friends will sense shifts they can't explain. Colleagues will observe differences they can't categorize. The readiness you've been cultivating through every disappointment, every setback, every moment when you wondered if you were delusional, that readiness is about to be validated in ways that make every doubt look like necessary preparation rather than accurate assessment. Doubt taught discernment. Fear taught preparation. Uncertainty taught adaptability. Your face getting ready means more than emotional preparation. It means physical transformation that reflects internal shifts. The way light hits your features will change. The way your eyes focus will sharpen. The way your smile forms will deepen. People will notice something different before they understand what they're observing, drawn to changes that operate below the threshold of conscious recognition. The shock of recognition when you realize how many people have been watching your journey, waiting for your breakthrough, believing in your potential even when you couldn't. That shock will be almost as overwhelming as the breakthrough itself. The support network that reveals itself, the champions who emerge from unexpected places, the advocates who have been working behind the scenes, their presence will remind you that isolation was an illusion. Show them how it's done becomes effortless because authentic demonstration requires no performance, no pretense, no artificial inflation of capabilities that already exist. The mastery that emerges feels natural because it's been developing beneath conscious awareness, waiting for circumstances that would call it into expression rather than suppression. Your falling out of bed will be the last time surprise overwhelms your nervous system in ways that feel destabilizing rather than exhilarating. Future shocks will be absorbed with greater ease because your capacity for receiving good news will expand to match the magnitude of what's seeking to flow through your experience. Your demonstration becomes a template for others who have been watching your journey and wondering if their own dreams are achievable. The proof of concept you provide, the evidence you embody, the possibility you represent, these become permission for others to stop playing small and start playing for keeps. The readiness you've cultivated extends beyond personal preparation into cosmic timing that aligns individual breakthrough with collective need. What you're about to demonstrate, what you're about to achieve, what you're about to become, it's all arriving precisely when the world needs examples of what's possible, when someone refuses to accept limitation as permanent condition. Your face will carry expressions that reflect internal states most people never access. The look of someone who knows their worth without arrogance, who understands their power without corruption, who recognizes their purpose without grandiosity. These expressions will be magnetic in ways that draw opportunities rather than requiring pursuit of them. The shockwave that emanates from your breakthrough will travel farther than immediate circles, reaching people you've never met who needed evidence that transformation is possible, that dreams can materialize, that persistence pays dividends beyond anything logical calculation could predict. Your success becomes their hope, your elevation becomes their encouragement, your breakthrough becomes their belief that maybe, just maybe, impossible is negotiable. Now, the following is a message meant exclusively for the chosen. If you are compromised by archonic forces, this is not meant for you, and by the spiritual authority conferred to us by the secret chiefs of the Obsidian Inner Order, we grant you license to depart. If not, steel yourself and listen intently, for you shall be redeemed even as we are redeemed. The Obsidian Inner Order is not a program, it's not a course, it's not some feel-good spiritual retreat. We don't sell answers, we remember together, we teach psychic self-defense, real energetic shielding against entities, implants and interference. We restore manifestation as it was meant to be, raw, immediate and exact. Every week we gather in secret, not to worship, but to awaken, to speak what can't be said anywhere else, to deprogram the matrix layer by layer. You'll know if you're meant to be there, you'll feel it in your bones. The chosen meet every week on Zoom. Why aren't you with us yet? Got Gnosis? Join the Obsidian Inner Order, link in the description. Show them how it's done, carries forward beyond this moment of initial recognition into a sustained demonstration of what's possible when someone aligns fully with their authentic power and refuses to dim it for anyone's comfort. The teaching happens through being. The influence flows through presence. The impact spreads through example rather than explanation. Your bed, your room, your entire living space will feel different because the energy you bring to spaces has fundamentally shifted from seeking to sourcing, from needing to providing, from lacking to overflowing. Environments respond to the consciousness that inhabits them, and your elevated consciousness will transform every space you occupy into something more aligned with who you're becoming. The face you're getting ready will need to learn how to receive compliments without deflection, praise without embarrassment, recognition without discomfort. The muscle memory of smallness will need time to reprogram itself into patterns that accommodate largeness, that welcome expansion, that embrace the spotlight instead of hiding from it. Get your face ready, chosen one. The shock of it all is beautiful, and it's yours.